So today I am actually playing as Celine here, and so the plan of action was to actually continue with the current active bounty of dealing with the second bloater with a revolver, and later on, soon enough, you will see that one of the things that I am doing here is some basic inventory management in the community supply locker, and I'll speed up this part a little bit just to get to the action a bit faster. So I have it sped up to about 5 times speed here, and once this part is over, I run around a little bit to try to find what Bella is saying, and then I actually leave base, but then I come back to talk to Bella yet again, and then I will have some live gameplay here where I actually slow down the speed a bit, and we're able to still drive before we get hit by one of the more severe negative curveballs in the game, in my opinion, called Bangernomics. And even as the overall curveball difficulty level is set to at least mostly positive, it is still possible to get Bangernomics as one of the curveballs. And you can also still get the hostile enclaves who prevent the generation of specific resources until they're dealt with. And those kind of curveballs with the hostile enclaves are actually they are actually a perpetual curveball that will remain until they are effectively dealt with. And it'll also give, maybe pretty good influence in lethal zone, just considering all things. So here, I'm actually having Celine go, and here she is actually gonna go and work on some of, she will continue to work with the active bounty, or she'll be working on the active bounty, but she will talk to Bella for the second time here. And I actually wanted to see whether she actually had one of the revolvers equipped, but it turned out it was actually one of the pistols, which actually would be useful for doing the mission where I will have to defeat 100 plus just zombies in general with a pistol. So I do have a lot of 9mm ammo that will probably help, since you can usually just beat each one with a single shot. So I mean, even though it'll be a little bit more resource demanding in lethal zone, pretty much that's just the challenge of the balance of resources to the definitive lethal difficulty without any resource tweaking for a custom lethal zone experience. But if it's the true lethal zone experience, this is just something that could be generally expected for any new player to lethal zone. And then here I was trying to defeat the screamer, and then I am just trying to be as stealthy as possible so that I can still get a little bit of loot at the same time, trying to recon the area so I can actually see what's in the surrounding area, since I haven't actually explored this part of Providence Ridge yet.
I don't want to be here any longer than I have to.
And I agree with Celine. I mean, yeah, we really don't want to have to stick around in this infested area longer than we have to.
I have some goodies to trade straight from Trumbull Valley. Come on by.
Yep, and then later on I ended up, due to me not actually being able to drive due to the Bangernomics curveball, I'm only really able to run directly from base all the way to the bounty collector and to the bounty broker. And so I wasn't able to actually meet the network trader on time.
Better for me here.
And one of the things here is I had to take out some of the zombies along with our warlord buddy here, and what ended up happening was it stirred the placard, and then it actually awakened as a result of me actually taking out some of those zombies. But it was actually required, pretty much because they were going to actually contribute to the nearby infestations, and then there were actually a bunch of infesting hordes trying to go to the nearby mart and the nearby police station, where you will see me go a little bit later. And then here you could actually see where I was trying to silently eliminate some of the nearby plague zombies here, and then I wanted to get to the bloater without having the screamer actually trigger or call or attract any more of the zombies here. So I dealt with both. I got the second bounty finally completed. Then here you see where I tried to actually do melee with blades to try to actually conserve some of the ammo initially, but yeah, I mean, you can see how the struggle is real. And just trying to have a different experience in Lethal Zone. It's a bit more of a more proactive combat style. And then I actually tried to remap my grapple controls where where the default is originally the X key on a keyboard, but in my opinion that's actually very difficult to use, especially if you're trying to dodge with C or jump with spacebar, or even just trying to do evasive maneuvers in general. And by default, the second keybind for dodging is the middle mouse button click. So one of the things I found out that was actually very useful was actually using the middle mouse button as the grapple button, and then the throw button instead of having to push the space bar, I could actually have the scroll up feature be the throw button. So I could actually grab a zombie with the middle mouse button click and then throw it with the scroll up feature at the same time. And I feel like for me, that's actually the easiest way of accomplishing that. And this is where I'm actually on top of the roof of the police department. And so we go and actually get some new armaments here, a little bit more useful ammo. And I think it even had an ammo, like a material bag, like an ammo resource bag. So that was actually pretty useful, so I could actually make more of the necessary 5.56 and 7.62 millimeter ammo for the rifles and the some of the other weapon types that I needed to complete the bounties here. But some of the armaments I found I'm probably just going to end up keeping, or I'll just break them down for parts, since the Haven device actually requires an upkeep of 100 parts per day. And as you can see, I only have about 477 parts currently, so it actually becomes very useful. And even if I find random parts scattered throughout the world, I mean, some of that is just better than nothing. And so one of the things that I do is, and what I might consider doing is actually, if I find any extra armaments that I know I probably won't be using because I already have them collected, I will probably just break those down into parts, and those will just be used for weapon repairs. They'll just be for weapon repairs that I do use. And because I ended up actually, I think it might be the Wraith Blade that I was using. And I think it's like one of the, I think it's like
Sorry, can't carry that.
don't remember if it's actually a Echo type, but yeah, it's the first in the series. It's probably one of my favorite aesthetically, and it is kind of comparable to the second one in the series. But yeah, as you can see, the current blade that Celine has on has a nice kind of look and aesthetic to it, but it's also very functional in terms of its stats. And it's actually fairly quiet, so it's actually quieter than the bounty sword that Alt is currently using. And then here I wanted to see if I could actually jump on the fire truck to be able to get into base easier, but you know, it didn't work that way. Just unlike with certain enclave bases, you could actually there was like a piece of wood boarding up against this abandoned bus, and you're actually able to jump up on top of that to jump on top of the bus and defend against some of the zombies that were coming that way, if that's what you want to do. is just one of those options that were out there. And then here I was actually just doing a little bit more inventory management, and I speed up here a little bit, heal up, because it's actually a very effective method of healing as long as you can either create it or find it out in the world. And it's that, healing foam. It's very useful, especially for challenges where you might not be able to, or choose not to, create any actual healing items aside from the plague cures, unless you're literally just relying on not getting infected in the first place. But that's actually a bit more, even more challenging to do in Lethal Zone, or even a modded gameplay difficulty. And here I wasn't actually hit with the Bangernomics yet, so that's actually very, very fortunate. But this was part of the first bounties, the first in the series on this map that I was actually going to finish, that carried over from Trumbull Valley. And so here we were actually approaching the bounty broker here, and I'm going to collect the rewards for the 2 and then collect the next 3 tasks in the series that I will complete, that are actually going to be fairly easy to do here.
Every 4th of July, some dumbass in our neighborhood starts saying, we laughed about it, but I remember how sad it was to be with the
Greetings. I have many bounties available. Please take a look.
Then here I am actually going to collect the next 3 tasks here, and I was checking out the critical response pack as well as one of the other packs that is going to expire in September. And so here we are getting back into the smash wagon here, and then we try to go and complete the other active bounties of defeating 35 zombies while crouched, 14 freaks in general, and 65 Zeds with blades, which you will actually see me actually start 2 of those bounties at once. So I just have to be crouched, maybe even I could probably knock out 2 or 3 if I chose the bounty where I just take zombies out ranged. But then they'd also be freaks, and then also while crouched. Or I could do crouched with the stealth takedowns, or even with a blade, it would still count anyway, in certain instances. And so in this part, I actually end up going back to base so I can actually deposit some of the bounty rewards, and then I wanted to go and actually continue with the bounties once again. And so soon after, I ended up actually getting the Bangernomics curveball, and it kind of slowed down the overall process of completing the bounties. That's why I guess for this part, one of the things I will do is just speed up the moments where I'm mostly just running back and forth trying to complete these bounties and really just get to the action, and then I'll start to slow it down to where I can effectively showcase just the more engaging and immersive moments of the gameplay here.
More creeps are coming soon. I just know it.
Right there, that was just a bloat horde there, and then this is like a mini horde that was actually coming to base. So I got them dealt with, and then I think Elizabeth there got a mild infection, so I had to go and get her treated. Because aside from Celine, Alt, and Bella, they're the only ones who have true immunity to infection for the most part. But as for everybody else, they are completely vulnerable. So it's like, if I want to keep them around, I have to actually protect them with the main three. And so in this portion, I was actually getting Elizabeth pointed there into the infirmary there. I set up the emergency services training, and so I wanted to see if there was anything I could do there. But it's nice that it does provide a passive HP boost even to everybody in the community, even my main three. And then there I went to go and get the mod actually installed, and then I actually got some additional ammo made
I'm
up.
going to build so many things for us.
And so here I was trying to be a little bit stealthy with Celine here, while trying to complete more of the active bounties, especially with the blade use.
Be careful out there.
I've got to keep that one down.
And then here you can see where I ended up trying to utilize the blade to complete the third active bounty on the list here. And then sure enough, a blood plague feral actually came, and where I narrowly dodged his tackle right there. And then I missed the dodge initially, where I tried to dodge right about here. And then I actually managed to take it down with minimal
No more ammo here.
casualties here. But I do run out of the ammo I need for the revolver.
The armor's
I have to
gone.
move to the rifle there. And then I was able to actually complete the second, like work on the second active bounty. It would have been more efficient if I had the ranged bounty on the list as well, and if I were crouched, so I could effectively just work on
As long as that
3
plague
at the
horde is
same
nearby,
exact time. That would
I'll
be
really secure this
probably
place.
the most optimal way of doing so.
Hey, over here.
Of course.
And then I had to actually destroy the plague heart so I can actually reclaim the, or actually to start to claim the nearby outpost there, which would actually be very useful for defending against any future zombie sieges if I didn't want to have to constantly fuel the haven device there. And then here I wanted to go see if there was any loot I could find, like useful repair kits or parts or anything else I could find in the area. But I did manage to get this lizard hoodie, and I ended up changing Celine's outfit to the brown lizard hoodie. And here I actually return back to base with Celine, and I go and do a little bit more inventory management, as you will see coming up. But I had to go back and close the gate door there, only to slam the door open and make noise. I healed up with the stabilizing foam. It's very useful, and it's basically, I think it's actually infinite uses. So if you get that, it's actually very, very powerful. Maybe overpowered if you consider the ability, but it's not too cheesy or cheaty because you have to be at base to use it. So you have to be in the direct vicinity of the base in order to use it. You can't be in the range of protection of the base to use it, or anywhere else on the map to just use it from the default base key, which is like the B keybind on a keyboard. And here I wanted to get more rifle ammo made up so I could work on the future bounties that I end up working on. And so I end up crafting some 5.56 millimeter ammo as well as the 7.62 millimeter ammo, and we just go and see how that all goes. And then I go and talk to Junker here because it was one of the prompts that he just showed up on the mini map here, and he wanted to talk to me. And then I ended up getting a positive curveball, which does actually make the easy... It just makes defeating zombies a lot easier. Makes them a little more fragile, but even in lethal zone, it still presents a challenge, especially if you do melee only. So this is just how the difficulty would be with curveball settings set just like this in Lethal Zone. Just out of curiosity. And then here I thought I heard another barrel here. I saw the bloater that just passed by the corner, and then it just ended up exploding right there. And then, yep, and there went another. And I tried to go get the high ground here, but then a blood plague feral actually came over to me. Despite the Haven device actually activating right at this moment. Try to take out the bloater from a distance here. And then I see a Juggernaut there by the wall, but he won't be able to get to me. I mean, the good thing is at least the Juggernaut can't go over the wall. But the Ferals and other zombies
I
can
think I just wandered
vault
into
over these
friend's
walls.
territory.
And there's the Blood Plague Pharaoh right there. I tried to jump over the wall, but I ended up going down instead. Might have been possible if I just rolled, if I did a sprint run with a default shift key and then try to hit, I think it was just C to do a combat roll, if you have the skill set up for that. And I might have just been able to go right over the wall just like that. It's something I would have to test in that area just for like the free running type of functionality there. And then there I just try to defeat more zombies with the blades to get the 26 out of 65 going on there.
Some people just need to lay the hell on. Are you kidding me? I'm dead.
Then there Bella goes, starting a fight just because she's in a bad mood for whatever reason. Just one of those random things that happen in Lethal Zone. And then my blade actually ends up degrading, so I try to actually reduce the usage, like I try to balance out the usage of the blade that I have here, and I think I only had maybe 2 in my entire collection. So I mean, if I'm able to go and get more of those, I will for sure. Those are the ones I will keep because they're one of the quietest blades in the game. And it just looks nice to boot. And then here I'm just kiting the zombies just until they get taken out, just to conserve ammo and my weapon, because there's not much I can really do unless I just do close combat, which, you know, usually has infinite, it just has infinite durability. And then I try to actually switch my main primary melee weapon to either a heavy weapon or a blunt weapon, but I went with the heavy weapon just so I could take out the ferals if I wanted to go and conserve the general use of ammo. And here I returned the base. I went to go and actually get... I actually want to do a little bit more inventory management here for a bit. And I'll probably just go and speed this part up just to get back to the action again. But I'm literally here just trying to find a suitable replacement. I think this was the first time the Wraith blade actually wore out, and I went to go and get the second one that I had in my inventory. but I was trying to go and find it. I think it was somewhere around there. And here I was actually choosing between the beetle mallet and one of the bounty melee heavy weapons that were introduced some months back. But it's still, I think, I don't know if it's still part of one of the current packs at the moment. I'd have to go and actually check it. I don't remember if it actually expired, but I'll go and check that again. I'll probably have to double check. And then here I will go and try to go get the other wraith weapon here. You see the one that was in my storage locker there that was damaged, but I got the one that was actually still in pristine condition. And now I'm going on pretty much another night hunt to go and complete the active bounties that I have here. And then I actually ended up coming back to base just to get the sided scar variety. So there's actually at least 2 in the game, I think, where one is the unscoped scar, and then here's the other scar that is sided, which allows the user to actually zoom in while using it
Storage is limited. When we ignore
with
that,
the
we lose
default
valuable
Z
supplies.
key on the keyboard.
Good news though, I turned some of the broken stuff into useful gear.
And then I just, like right now, the default is the semi-auto burst fire. It would fire at least 3 bullets with each shot. So that would actually use up too many resources, especially in a lethal zone. So I just end up changing the burst fire back to a single fire. But I do that a little bit soon enough. But here I have to go take out a screamer and take out I think there's a feral that came after me, so I think I had to go and deal with that too, but I try to get rid of the screamers to prevent more zombies from being attracted to the area. But they're just coming to me anyway, even in lethal zone, because the suppressors are kind of reduced in lethal zone, and zombies will be attracted regardless.
Okay, go for the head!
So with that, I actually wasted almost 9 ammo there, so that's why I ended up changing the burst fire to single fire, since it was just something that I ended up having to remember. And then here I wanted to remap the controls to see where I need to go to change the settings here.